I was thinking today that I don't like to talk about projects that I'm working on, books that I'm working on. And I mean, if you're an author like me or you're an aspiring author, you're probably often asked by like friends or family or anybody who's just interested what you're working on. And I mean, if it's a book I've already written, then of course I want to talk about that because I mean, I want people to be interested in it and buy it. But if it's a book I haven't written yet and I'm still working on, or it's like in the back of my mind, I don't like to talk about it at all. And I actually kind of avoid those conversations or just address them really like surface level and then move on to a different topic. And I think there's really like two reasons for that. I mean, first of all, I'm not that great about talking about my ideas that if they're not very well formed. And I mean, that's probably why I'm a writer and not a speaker, because I write better than I speak. But two, I think because the more that I talk about something, the less interesting it becomes. I mean, the first time I might talk about something, it's pretty fun and interesting, but by like the 43rd time, it's kind of gotten boring for me. And I think that can be a problem sometimes because sometimes people feel like if they're talking about something, they're doing something, but talking is not writing. And so I see sometimes people spend a lot of time talking about their book, but not enough time actually writing the book. And you don't have a book unless you write it. And the last thing is that the more that you talk about an idea, the more you feel like the idea that you get on paper should resemble that idea in your head. And I don't know, maybe for some authors, the initial idea you have is what comes out on the page. But for me, it's never that. I mean, I always have an idea, and then what I write is usually completely different. So much so that sometimes I read it and I think, oh my God, this isn't what I had wanted to write at all. I mean, that doesn't mean I think it's bad, it's just not what I thought. So the more that you talk about something, I feel like the more you can get locked into it or kind of wedded to it. And I almost feel like keeping it to yourself a little bit keeps it private and gives you more freedom as an author to go wherever the story takes you. Plotters are probably having a heart attack listening to that right now, so maybe this isn't advice for you. But anyway, those are my thoughts. That's why I try not to talk too much about books that I haven't finished yet. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? What are your experiences? Do you find that's true, or am I completely off base?